Okay guys, so the first fragrance that I'm gonna start out with is super popular. I would say at least 90 to 95% of the population probably have this fragrance. I'm pretty sure at least 99% of the reviewers here on YouTube have this fragrance. It's Cloud by Ariana Grande. I really want to like this fragrance, like really want to like this fragrance. Even though there are a lot of things that I love about this fragrance, there are a lot of things that I don't like about this fragrance. I love the opening, and I for sure love the heart of this fragrance. Very delicious. If you're into sweet scents, if you're into coconut and praline and whipped cream, trust me, you'll definitely like it. But if you're like me and you don't like fragrances that pull very masculine, especially in the dry down, you probably won't like this too much. Honestly, that's the issue that I have with this one. I cannot stand the dry down. It's way too overpowering, it's way too woodsy, and it's way too masculine for my liking. I just wish they had went into a different direction in the base. I wish they had kept that sweet, yummy, gourmand feel, but unfortunately they didn't. But you know, it's whatever. This is Cloud by Ariana Grande. The next fragrance on this list is L'Imperatrice, and this one is by Dolce & Gabbana. This is another fragrance that I purchased because so many people were talking about this one, and a couple of reviewers that I respect and I trust their noses were talking about this one, and it seemed like they approved it. So I decided, you know what, let me try it because it kind of sounded like something that I would like. In theory, I do like this one, but I can't. Like, it does something very weird to my stomach. It kind of makes my stomach turn, and I don't know of any other feeling in the world that's worse than feeling nauseous. So I'm for sure not gonna wear a fragrance that makes me feel that way. Don't get me wrong, it's like a pretty scent. Like, I love the fruitiness. The fruitiness here feels very organic. It's very watery. It's very nice. I think that's what really draws a lot of people to this fragrance, but at the same time, I find something about this a little bit weird and off-putting. I know we have kiwi, watermelon, rhubarb in here. We have like a slight aquatic undertone to this one, which I kind of like. I like the aquatic undertone, but even the aquatic undertone of this fragrance kind of goes weird to me. It kind of starts to feel a little bit synthetic, which I kind of don't enjoy. But I do think that the real culprit in this fragrance is probably the rhubarb. It has like a very vegetal type scent that, I don't know, it's kind of too weird. I kind of wish they didn't add it, but then the fragrance wouldn't be what it is without it, and I know that's probably what a lot of people like about it. But I don't know. It's like I'm so torn because it's pleasant, but it's also a little bit off-putting. I mean, I just don't like this one enough to actually wear it. This is L'Imperatrice by Dolce & Gabbana. The next fragrance on this list is Prada La Femme. I'm super sad to add this one to this list only because I feel as though I should like this perfume, and don't get me wrong, I like this perfume. I really like this perfume, but because I'm such a lover of soapy fragrances and this is such a soapy fragrance, I should love this more. I should want to wear this way more. The issue with this isn't that it doesn't smell good. My issue with this is how it wears. I feel as though it's a very, you know, boring scent. I feel as though it's kind of one-dimensional. It really doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't really develop the way I like my fragrances to develop. It's dominated by tuberose, frangipani, and beeswax, which gives it this very classy, soapy kind of smell with a slightly sweet undertone from the beeswax. And I do like that, but I feel as though the fragrance just doesn't develop. It doesn't really go anywhere. You just get soap, and I can't even believe I'm saying that because I love soap. The fragrance smells beautiful, but the fact that it doesn't really transition or it doesn't transform into anything, you know, interesting kind of bothers me, and because of that I don't love it the way I'm supposed to love it, and I definitely don't wear it as much as I should, but it is a nice fragrance. This is Prada La Femme. Next up is Rebel Fleur by Rihanna. I've had this fragrance in my collection for so many years. I mean, I've kind of made a dent because, you know, I've really tried to fall in love with this fragrance. I knew I didn't love it, but I knew I liked it. At the time that I purchased this one, which was years ago, I didn't realize that I didn't like patchouli. I knew there was something in the base of the fragrance that I didn't like, but because I was inexperienced and I didn't know much about notes and stuff like that, I kind of knew that at the end of the day, I didn't like the way I smelled, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Once I applied it, like in the morning, I would love it. I'd be in heaven. But around noon, you know, I'd be at work thinking, oh, why did I wear this one? So it has a very sweet, dark, you know, sexy, seductive, tropical feel, which is kind of rare in perfumery, right? Because a lot of times when you have a fragrance that leans a little tropical, it usually feels very happy. It feels like daytime. You think sun, you think beach. But here, even though it's tropical, you think night, you think dark, you think mysterious. So I like that about the fragrance. That beautiful coconut water note is what really drives me crazy. Combined with the vanilla and the floral notes, beautiful. But once that patchouli steps in, it's just like over for me. I cannot stand the patchouli note. It's just way too intense. It overpowers the composition. It's way too earthy. And then it goes into masculine territory, and I don't like that. Funny enough, when I wear this one, I always get compliments. I always get compliments when I wear this one. But for me, the patchouli is just too much, and it kind of ruined this scent for me. This is Rebel Fleur by Rihanna. Another fragrance that I have here is a flanker to the original Tuiles de Hermes fragrance. This one is called Au Pauvre. Not really sure if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not saying it right. It's funny because this one isn't hyped up, so I'm not even sure if it's fair to add this one to the list. But I did encounter this fragrance in, I believe, TJ Maxx, and because there's so much hype around the original Tuiles fragrance, I decided that I was gonna try this one. Unfortunately, it was one of the worst blind buys of 2021. I just sprayed on this paper because I wanted to make sure that I still didn't like it. I wanted to make sure that I was being fair, so I sprayed it on this paper. Oh my God, it's just so vile to me. It's so vile to me. This, yeah, like I said, this is probably my worst blind buy of 2021. I believe this is a rose scent. It's so hard to even pick up the rose because there is just some craziness going on with the undertone of this fragrance, but I think this is a powdery rose. I do get some pepper. That's pretty much what I get here. What bothers me the most about this fragrance is the undertone. It has like a very synthetic undertone. I'm getting like a pencil shavings accord, which is a no-no for me. The other unfortunate thing about this fragrance, and I know this is nobody's fault, this is not the scent's fault, I think I've already made a negative connection to this fragrance. When I was a child, there was a store in my neighborhood that kind of smells like this perfume. I hated that store. I hated to go in there because it would just smell like this smell, and every time I smell it, I kind of think about the smell come from that store. I'm not gonna go into detail and tell you what that store smells like because that's not fair, because it's just my experience and I don't want to turn anybody off from a fragrance that they already like. But even before I made that connection, I did not like this fragrance. Yeah, it's a little bit too vile for me, too peppery, too synthetic. That pencil shaving undertone, just I can't. I mean, cute bottle though, very adorable, right? Anyway, guys, this is a Tuiles de Hermes Au Pauvre. Not really sure if I'm saying that right once again. So up next is another fragrance that disappoints me to the soul. Okay, I really thought I was gonna like this fragrance. This is Light Blue Sun. This is by Dolce & Gabbana. And of course, this is a flanker to the original light blue. I have most of the flankers from the light blue range because I am obsessed with the original light blue fragrance. I just adore that fragrance. And for the most part, I always blind buy the flankers. I just love them all. This is the only exception. I just cannot like this one. And what really confused me is that most of the reviews that I saw about this one were all positive. And it kind of gives me a headache. As soon as I smell it, it kind of like gives me a mild headache. So this is a combination of a coconut nectar and lime. I think that's basically what I get here. The lime is very synthetic, which is weird because the other flankers usually have lime, and I love the way the lime is, but here is very synthetic. I know they were trying to give us that sun-kissed vibe, but here it just feels super synthetic. I just cannot relate to this fragrance. It doesn't smell like summer to me. I'm just getting a synthetic coconut and a synthetic lime. Not for me. This is Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Sun. The next fragrance that I have on this list is Furiosa by Fendi. So I did see a couple of people talking about this fragrance, and I just really wanted to try it. I was really hoping that I would enjoy it, but unfortunately, I just don't like this one so much. I don't hate it, but I don't like it enough to make a dent in it. I definitely don't pull for this one because I just, like I said, I don't enjoy this one as much as I was hoping I would. It's a very spicy, ambery type scent. We have some beautiful notes in here, and I think that's what really captured my attention. We have wallflower, we have incense, I believe we have amber, we have some pepper. I really wanted to like this, but I think the issue that I have with this fragrance is that it just doesn't suit my personality. It's like a hot and spicy kind of fragrance, and I just feel as though that's just not my vibe. It doesn't really feel like me. Another thing that I just don't like about this fragrance is that I feel as though it's very unbalanced. I feel as though it's very top heavy. I think it's a little bit too heavy on the spiciness, the warm spiciness. I really wish they would have gotten rid of some of the spiciness and probably added in some musk and probably go a little bit heavier on the amber. I mean, but this is just my personal preference. Yeah, I mean, definitely not a bad scent. Not gonna get rid of this one right now. Now that it's cold, I think it's the perfect time to go back and try it again. It's definitely a fragrance I really wish I could love. This is Furiosa by Fendi. The next fragrance that I have here is Angel Muse, and this is the Eau de Toilette. Once again, saw a couple of people talking about this one. At some point, everybody was like adding this one to their collection, and I really wanted to try it out. I was very nervous to blind buy this one because I know that I don't really get along with the original Angel fragrance, but because of all the reviews talking about the passion fruit and how it's fruity and how good it is and how it doesn't have the same patchouli notes, I went ahead and I purchased this one. Don't get me wrong, this is a nice fragrance. And I do get that passion fruit. I absolutely love passion fruit. I love the smell, I love the taste, I love the drink. So I love passion fruit. And the fact that I pick it up here makes me very happy. Now, once the fragrance starts to progress, the passion fruit scent kind of fades away a little bit, and then the fragrance gets a little bit more earthy. The note that pulls heaviest to me in this fragrance is actually the hazelnut cocoa spread note. It's very apparent here, like it dominates the whole fragrance, and I was expecting to like that, but I find that it comes off very earthy. I was expecting it to be more sweet. I thought it was going to go in a more gourmand direction, but instead I feel as though the fragrance kind of loses a bit of sweetness and kind of picked up in the earthy department, which I don't like. It kind of gives the impression that there's patchouli here, and I don't like that at all. It's nice though, like especially from the nozzle, like it's nice, but once the fragrance starts to transition, that's when it kind of loses me. But I must say this, if you love hazelnut, you'll definitely love this fragrance. So yeah, this is Angel Muse, and this is the EDT. The next fragrance on this list is Labelle by Jean-Paul Gaultier. If you guys have been following my channel, you know I've been struggling with this fragrance, and that's because I like some things about this fragrance and there are some things that I don't like. It's much easier when you just straight up hate a fragrance, but when you have fragrances like Labelle where you like certain things about it, but there are certain things that you don't like about it, it makes you hold on to it for longer than you need to, because I just cannot imagine parting ways with this fragrance. It's just, I kind of find it hard, even though I'm not in love with this fragrance. What I absolutely love about this fragrance is the packaging, but that's not the only thing. I really adore the pear note. I really like the pear. It's sweet and even a little bit tart. At first, I liked the vetiver. I found that it was very unique, but the more I started to wear it, it started to kind of, I don't know, bother me. It became a little bit problematic. I just felt like it was a little bit too rustic, and I feel as though it kind of overwhelmed the Pear a little bit, in my opinion. So I feel as though I wish the Pear was a little bit more dominant, but instead the vetiver, at least on my skin, became a little bit too overpowering, and that dusty rustic feel was just not doing it for me. So that's the main issue that I have with this one. Another issue that I have, probably not the main issue, but another issue that I have with this fragrance is that once it starts to really dry on the skin, the vanilla becomes a little bit oriental to me. It feels a little bit balmy, and I don't like that. It gives the fragrance a more mature vibe. So I think if you are into fragrances that are oriental, that feels a little bit more mature, you may like this fragrance. But I think it's possible that this fragrance may be a little bit more mature than I am. I'm probably just not ready for a fragrance like this. Beautiful scent, and for that reason I've held on to it. I'm really trying to like it, but it's definitely not a perfect scent in my book. I know a lot of people like this one, and I just can't blame them. I really do see the beauty in this one. It smells good, but like I said, there are certain things about this fragrance that kind of prevents me from loving it. So the last fragrance that I have on this list is another Mugler fragrance, and this one is Angel. This is the EDP. This is such an iconic fragrance. If you've never tried Angel, if you've never worn Angel, I mean, spray it on yourself, walk out of your house and wear it for the whole day. We all have to at least once experience this perfume because it's such an iconic fragrance. And if you could pull this fragrance off, you are the you know what. I had a boss that used to wear this one, and it kind of matched her. She was a very aggressive, even mean kind of lady. I hope she doesn't watch my videos because she was kind of like, she was bitchy. And I like, I feel as though I felt that from my soul, but she used to wear this one. Sometimes when I smell this fragrance, I kind of do think about her, but I haven't made that negative connection. It's not that. It's just I'm basing my feelings for this fragrance based upon how it smells. A lot of people that like this fragrance love it for the fact that it comes off a little bit gourmand. So we have some chocolate note in here, you know, amongst other sweet notes. It has a lot of notes in here, but I know a lot of people love the gourmand aspect of this fragrance, and of course I like that. But I think what I like the most is actually the florals here. I don't think a lot of people talk about the florals, but I think the florals here are just to die for. And when they mingle with the gourmand notes, it's really beautiful. Of course, the problem that I have with this fragrance is definitely the patchouli. It's very dominant here, very earthy. I don't know if I've ever smelled a more aggressive patchouli. It completely ruined the entire composition, and that makes me so sad. But yeah, this is Angel. This is the EDP, and it's by Mugler. So that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope nobody got too offended or anything like that, because remember, this is just my opinion. They're not facts or anything like that, okay? So if anything that you like appeared on this list, never mind, you know, keep doing you. Wear these fragrances. If anything, I should be jealous that you're able to pull them off. Let me know what fragrance you have in your collection that you just cannot love, even though everybody else seems to like them. Let me know. I'm just so curious. Anyway, guys, so that's it. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.